everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mint Out of the Box. I'm your host, the godfather of toys, the J-Bomb. You know, it's October 2nd. That means we're officially in the month of October. It is Halloween time, and it's a most wonderful time of the year. It's the one time you can actually dress like Batman and not be judged by people. Well, I mean, as long as you do it around the 31st. When I was doing it the other night, I was being judged by people. But as you can see, I'm not alone this week. With me is my, been accused of being my life partner, which would be okay if he was, but he's not.
Hetero life mate.
One of my dearest friends, my former tag team partner, opponent. We've done it all. And now here we are at this stage of our life doing the show. The one and only, the other Jeremy, a.k.a. Ball. Thank you, sir, for joining me this week.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, the loveliest disembodied voice in all of action figure unboxing here on YouTube, Rumble, and every other social media platform. The lovely one, Producer Steph. Producer Steph, how are you doing this week?
Good, it's October.
Are we excited?
I'm ready to go put our pumpkins out.
Yes, we spent the day washing pumpkins and putting clear coat on them. Yes, and coming soon, mint out of Home Goods. Mint out of Hobby Lobby. That'll be my next show as I put clear coat on pumpkins. Yes, yeah, you can learn all kinds of these borderline hetero things to do for the holidays. But I'm not here to talk about that. We decided here at Mint Out of the Box that this week, this month, every episode leading up to the second annual Halloween Spooktacular, we were trying to do something Halloween themed, something spooky, something scary, something creepy. And I have a bunch of these figures in my closet, but I said, well, instead of opening all my stuff and clearing out my closet, I'll have someone import all his crap over here and we'll open up his stuff instead. So, Ball decided to bring over some of these things over for him. He's opened them up. And it's kind of funny because there's, like with everybody in my life, an age gap. Before we get into it, how old were you when Gremlins came out in 1984?
I was 2 years old, but I didn't really start watching it till maybe I was around 5 or 6. So
okay,
3 years later.
I saw, I guess, in 81. We don't really need to get to that when the thing came out.
No, 82 was when the thing came out.
82, okay.
82.
You wouldn't be able to make that either, I don't know.
I was just born in the year 1982.
Okay. I saw both these movies on opening day.
Of course you did.
In the theater. My mom, being of sound judgment, took me and about another group of kids between the ages of 6 and 10 and scared the living shit out of us for the rest of the summer when we went and saw this movie. Now, you look at this movie now, it still holds up. It's a classic John Carpenter film. I'm a big fan of John Carpenter, big fan of the movie Halloween. You see behind me, I've mentioned before, it is my absolute favorite movie. This was a very underrated movie. Didn't really start getting its due until later on, obviously, as we're getting a action figure of it in 2021. But I thought it was a great movie. It still holds up. You watch it today. The effects are a little
Well, it was also the first time they tried using practical effects as well as animatronic effects, which wasn't really heard of during that time. And it made it look good because it's all, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, it's a lot of creatures, and it's special creature effects that I want to say Toby Hooper did.
Yeah, but it has the same John Carpenter music, the same feel, the same pacing. It's a great movie. I watch it every time it's on. It's one of the movies I'll stop and watch. They did a prequel of it. I didn't like it. I thought it kind of stunk. But this was a great movie. Kind of cool they came out with this figure. I saw somewhere out there online that they're actually making some of the figures of the creatures coming out. So that'd be pretty cool. Gremlins was a summertime blockbuster phenomenon. I believe, don't quote me, I believe it came out at the same time, same summer that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out. Star Trek 3. I think they all came out around the same summer. Don't quote me, but I'm almost pretty sure. Gremlins was a phenomenon. Gizmo stuff was everywhere, kind of like Baby Yoda of today. It was everywhere. Richard Donner, I believe, made the movie, who made the original Superman, 1979.
Oh, there's also the debate. Is Gremlins a Christmas movie or not?
I say this. if that song, Do They Know It's Christmas Time, where all the British people got together and sang about feeding Africa, if that can hold up as a Christmas song, why not? Because I still say the greatest Christmas movie out there now is Die Hard.
Yeah, I agree.
So yes, I mean, it technically could be a Christmas film. Gremlins is one of those movies that when I was young, I was really into. I really liked it a lot. If I had to sit down and watch it again, I wouldn't feel like I'm wasting my time. But it's one of those movies I never went back and watched again. Same with E.T. I watched E.T. every chance I could. I tried watching it again in my 20s, and I just couldn't get into it again. Probably because I've seen it so many times, and it's just it was a good movie for me at that age. Kind of like I hear all these people talk about how great the movie Goonies was. I can't watch Goonies now.
I can't watch it either now.
I mean, was it good? Yeah, it was great. And, 12-year-old me thought it was amazing. But
it's also, too, like, you look at it and people saying, oh, they're going to try and remake this or remake that. And it's like, why would you want to remake something that, even though you don't agree with it now, like, you can't really sit there and watch it, would you want them to remake it?
I don't know. They remake everything because...
They're going to remake E.T. I've seen more Pops, more everything coming out.
And as me and the bill collector have always discussed, the whole creatively bankrupt scenario of the world, where, like I said, when I walk down the toy aisles right now, not only do I see almost the same toys, it's in the same packaging as I saw when I was 8 years old. Mm-hmm. So...
How do you remember?
Shut up.
I've never seen Gremlins.
Yeah, really?
Really.
You should watch it. We should watch it. The girls will probably enjoy watching it.
I'll add it to the list.
They'll love the little gizmo figure.
I remember it was crazy when 2 came.
2 was not as... I'm sorry, I can't watch... I watched 2 one time. I could watch this over and over, the original Gremlins, when I was younger. I could watch it over and over. When 2 came out, I could not. I watched it one time and that was it.
Yeah, I saw it I was in high school, and for some reason my mom took me out of school to go see it, and which was weird because at the time, like, me and her never did anything. So it really freaked me out that she wanted me to miss school to go see it. And we went and saw it in the afternoon. And the only part I popped at was when Hulk Hogan was in it. That's the only thing I was like, oh, no, Hulk Hogan.
It was basically Gremlins in a mall.
Yeah. It was kind of like, anytime a sequel comes out years after, it's never a good sign. So, just like the kind of a prequel to The Thing came out 30 years later. Never good. So we'll open this up real quick. These are both offerings from NECA. NECA's a close second on this show to the McFarlanes that seems like I'm opening stuff for. Again, typical NECA stuff. Weapons, accessories, alternate heads, alternate hands. This has got to be the first time you got a
Scotch bottle
and glass. But like I said, Kurt Russell was amazing in the movie. Kurt Russell was one of those guys that John Carpenter used in multiple films. Escape from New York. So, it's a great figure. What do you think, since it's actually your figure?
Like you said, it's by NECA, and it's pretty much like number 2, or maybe even like I would say 1B compared to McFarlane toys, because there's so much detail. The articulation is done really well, and pretty much all the figures, and also with you're not stuck with. The only bad part is with McFarlane figures is that you're only stuck with the 2 hands that come with it. You don't get the extra hands sometimes.
Yeah, well, a lot of superhero ones.
Superhero ones, they're coming with extras. But like the original McFarlane's, like where the one that I gave you as the Godfather, that didn't have extra hands, but it also does come with a lot of stuff. But with this, it comes with a lot of like points of articulation and a lot of accessories that you can do.
We're running blind right now because the producer Steph left, so I'm hoping you can see all this. Here you see the Flasher Gremlin. It was kind of a funny thing. Flashing seemed like it was kind of a thing in the 80s.
Weren't you convicted of mopery?
That's for the investigation discovery show we're gonna be doing pretty soon. But as you see here, the Flasher, Gremlin from the crazy bar scene in Gremlins when the Gremlins took over the town. Gremlins, if you don't know, I mean, I don't know the ages of people to watch this. A guy who was a struggling inventor went to a store, like a kind of an old Chinese store, and sold this little cute gizmo guy. Was a mogwai, and he had 3 rules: don't get him wet,
Don't feed him after midnight.
don't feed him after midnight, and don't show him bright. Don't put him in the light.
Don't expose him to sunlight.
Yeah. Well, bright light bother him too, but
Yeah.
the sunlight would kill him.
Yeah.
So he gives it to his kid who's older, but the gizmo accidentally gets wet.
Oh, that was with a young Corey Feldman in
Yes.
that movie, and Corey Feldman was the one that got him. He spilled water from paintbrushes all over him.
So Gizmo gets wet, pops out 5 little gremlins. They don't have the self-control that Gizmo has, so they end
Gizmo was
up...
a girl.
Huh?
Gizmo was a girl?
More like asexual.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the other... one of the ones had a stripe on his head. He was a leader. They called him Stripe. They end up cutting a cord to the clock. They got fed after midnight. They went into a cocoon, and then they turned into these creepy ass gremlins. And then one of them jumped into a swimming pool, and just
Took over the whole town.
took over the whole town. But they ended up
Shotgun.
saving the day. So that's basically a synopsis of Gremlins. But like I said, it's a cool figure. I mean, these figures aren't bad, but like I said, we're just doing an opening, unboxing of some horror stuff. NECA is far and away the leader in horror stuff. McFarlane, a little bit of probably a close second. But over the next couple weeks, we are going to be showcasing, because I have a whole bunch, and it's going to culminate with our Halloween Spooktacular Eve. I've got a bunch of Halloween stuff I'm going to open up here on the show. Different figures, different properties, different things. Here you can see McReady all ready to shoot. Dogs with heads splitting and stuff. I'm really surprised they didn't give him the blowtorch.
Yeah.
'Cause the blowtorch is a big thing.
That was in the movie the thing was actually afraid of fire, or was it also alcohol?
No, it's just the fire could that's what killed everything, but
Yeah.
they used fire to test the blood because the blood would scatter to save itself. It's complicated. You got to watch it to see it. It's a great movie. It's October, Halloween time. It's a cool movie. It's out there. It's accessible, I'm sure. With all the streaming options out there, you'll be able to find it easy. Like I said, Gremlins is something. I've seen the thing. I've flipped the channels. I've seen it. I can't ever remember a time I've flipped the channels and seen Gremlins just on TV.
Maybe on TNT from time to time.
I-
It's very rare, but
I can't even remember a time I've seen it.
But I think that they've also started showing it around Halloween time. But I think it's also they're putting it on.
Producer Steph,
Yeah,
They are coming out with a Gremlins 3.
a Gremlins 3.
Will be out next year, 2023.
is it with the original cast of Billy and Phoebe Cates?
Let's see.
Zach Galligan, I think.
As I go to put this on our watch list for next weekend, because in 2 weeks we're seeing Halloween Ends.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mint out the box. We'll be taking a special trip to go. We got some advanced passes here because we're kind of a big deal. We got some advanced passes to see Halloween Ends, just like I saw Batman advanced. That's my thing. People know me. I'm a big deal around here. I'm a big deal in this industry.
People know you or people know me?
A little bit of both.
Where did the tickets come from?
I'm there when the stuff drops. That's all that
Thank
matters.
you.
I get in.
December 2023 for Gremlins 3.
It'll probably be on Disney streaming.
So it's going to be a Christmas thing again.
And I can.
It won't be.
Producer Steph, flag it. What time is it?
6/18.
On.
October 2nd.
Gremlins 3 is going to stink on ice. Just throwing it out there now. So, that's my prediction.
Everyone's kind of cashing in on the whole nostalgia thing. Like they recently did it
It's because
Hocus 2.
It's because they're creatively bankrupt. And I knew someone I was close to for a while, and they talked about how great Hocus Pocus was.
HBO Max.
Oh.
For what? Gremlins?
Gremlins 3. Yeah.
For Gremlins 1, the original one? 3? Oh, wow. Well, like I said, the Hocus Pocus thing, I was actually talking to someone about that. This person I knew, she thought the movie was great because she was 10 when it came out. So she thought it was great. Just like I thought Goonies was great. So if they came out with a sequel today for Goonies, see, the people out there hear these people talking about, oh yeah, this was great, this was great. Yeah, because you were 10.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. Like I knew someone else that saw the movie Drop Dead Fred, which was like Pan was like one of the worst movies ever, but they thought it was a fantastic movie. Yeah, because they were 8. And it was the only videotape they had. Just like, well, I'm right about this. Fast Times at Ridgemont High was like the greatest movie ever made. But we watched it every single day because my best friend, Comic-Con John, had a broken leg and couldn't leave his house.
Well, that's also because you were at high school age and you kind of saw yourself in a lot of those different characters. It's the same thing with The Breakfast Club too. Breakfast Club is a good movie as well because you see yourself in those characters.
Breakfast Club was overrated because everyone has this thing that anything was made in the 80s was fucking amazing, and it's not. I was there in the 80s. Trust me, these movies...
I was made in the 80s. I tend to agree.
I rest my case.
The best.
There's a lot of movies in the 80s that everyone, like, all the John Hughes films, 16 Candles.
No,
right?
I didn't like that.
I watched it one time, and I was like, okay, that's or whatever. Like, Weird Science, like, I'll watch that over and over again. But The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire,
No.
all those 80s films.
All the Brat Pack films.
It's because we didn't have streaming. If we would have streaming back then, if we would have like decent video stores, it would have been different. If everyone had a VCR back then, if everybody had cable back then, trust me, those movies wouldn't have the reverence that the people have it for now. So, history from The Godfather. So that'll do it for this week's episode of Mint Out of the Box. Ball, thank you for joining me. Kicking off the Halloween Spectacular month. Producer Steph, do you have anything to add?
Or questions?
Why do you keep staring at me like that, like a psychopath?
Oh, we'll see. That'll be in the special scenes for next week.
Yeah, when I get a new producer.
Oh, no. There'll be a new host. You'll be dead. It is Halloween.
There you go.
You might be back.
As a zombie?
You never know.
Well, there you have it. I could die, I could live. I could get a new producer, I could not. Join us next week. Same Godfather time, same Godfather channel. Take care.